Hello and welcome to another edition of the Bearcat Alumni Chat. I'm Victoria Kisling, one of the sports information interns, and today I'm joined by fellow interns Julie Catone, Casper Gossick, and Christine Trimarco. Also with us is our Assistant Athletic Director and Sports Information Director, the one and only John Nepis. Today our special guest is former cross-country runner and coach Matt Soja. So welcome Matt, and thank you so very much for being here with us today.
Hello, thank you very much for allowing me to do this, and thank you for your time and thank you for John for organizing this and letting me impart my words of wisdom to current student athletes of Baruch.
Absolutely, words of wisdom.
Matt Soja ran as a Bearcat from 2005 to 2007. He was one of the people to raise a cross-country team from a club to varsity sports status in 2006. During his time at Baruch, he finished in first place individually at the 2006 CUNYAC Finals, and when the team was a club sport in 2005, Matt finished in second place individually that year. In 2008, Matt was named the CUNYAC Scholar-Athlete of the Year honorable mention, and he went on to coach men's cross-country team from 2009 to 2016 with his wife, Mercedes Zegarra-Soja. Under his leadership, Matt led the Bearcats to second place 3 times. And with that, I will go into my first question. So where on the Baruch College campus did you and Mercedes meet?
Of course, we met at cross-country practice. This was back in September of 2005 when the men's team was still a club team. Women's team was well established by that point. But at that time, the athletic director, Dr. Eng, tried to establish a men's club team, and I believe at our first joint practice, the first time we actually met was on the corner of Lexington Avenue and 24th Street when our van was leaving to practice at Van Crooklyn Park. And that was the whole story from then on. It was all cross country.
That's great. What was it like being a student athlete at Baruch College?
It was quite interesting. Like I said, at that point, we were just a club team. We were a very small team with, I believe, only 4 people at the time. So it was a very tight-knit group of people. So we were all friends and we really liked being on a team together. So this was quite something to look forward to. Something to do in addition to just studying and commuting to school. We were really looking forward to cross country, especially to going to meets. This was a very good idea to have this started as a club and transition to be a real college team. So it's something that we really did enjoy it.
That's awesome. What is your favorite memory as a student athlete?
Favorite memory from my competing days, I would say most likely the NCAA regionals in 2007. Normally NCAA regionals is a very big meet and it's held somewhere upstate New York, near the Canadian border. But in 2007, my last year of competing, we got very lucky because it was hosted by NYU right here in the city at Van Crooklyn Park, which is our home course. So it was a very amazing experience just to be able to run NCAA regionals right at home at Van Crooklyn Park, to have all family members come watch you. And it's something that every student athlete, really every cross-country runner should experience at least once. But unfortunately, it comes to New York City very rarely. I remember this race very vividly because it was a really very competitive event right here at home in New York City. And it's something that will definitely stay in my memory forever.
There must have been so much more adrenaline being that you were in your home city competing. So with that, how are you able to balance being a student athlete with your academics?
Doing sports, especially individual sports like cross country, allows you to basically set a very strict schedule for yourself. You have to be able to compartmentalize academics with athletics, with everything else in your life. It's almost like, not, I wouldn't say military, but it really teaches you discipline. Just you learn the value of time. You have to make specific blocks of time for training, specific blocks of time for going to class, for studying. And all of that is a skill that you basically can take on with you for the rest of your life and apply to anything, to work, to any further academics. So this was probably the best lesson that I learned at Baruch, that the time is something that's most valuable. It's more valuable than money, because you can never buy more time. Basically, you have to structure your life appropriately to be a successful, both as a student, as an athlete, and with everything else in life.
Matt, you are not only, of course, a student athlete, but you coached for a number of years at Baruch College, cross country. Of course, as we said, you met your wife there. And then obviously, even after you moved on from coaching, you, of course, continued to help us run the Baruch Cross Country Invitational at Van Cortlandt Park. You had to relive a day, whether it be a student athlete days or a coach's day all over again. What would be the day that you would relive?
I don't know if it would be a single day, but pretty much every single away meet, an overnight trip to Pennsylvania, to Connecticut, to Rhode Island, wherever we would go for a meet outside of the city is something that it's definitely something very memorable. And this is where you make the friendships for the rest of your life, when you spend time away from home with your teammates. I think that the early meets in 2005 is something that I really would like to relive again. I think we went twice away in 2005, once to the Salts in Pennsylvania, which was our first ever away meet. Second one was ECACs, I believe it was in Connecticut at the time. Both of those trips were so much fun, and it's something that I would really like to do again if I ever get the chance, but I don't think I will.
Yeah, I think to me, you were talking about in Pennsylvania. That might have been the sales invitation,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yes.
That was a regular meet that cross country would go to. By the way, I'm glad Mercedes isn't on the Zoom, because she might say, "What? It wasn't the day you met me on campus?" Like, but anyway, go ahead, VK.
So what is your current job today?
Sure. Right now, I work for New York State. To be more specific, for New York State Insurance Fund. We work with workers' compensation claims. Basically, my job is a manager of a unit that processes and settles workers' compensation claims. And I think the fact that I was both a student athlete and a coach, it really helped me tremendously in both getting that job and getting promoted and learning all the valuable job skills and managing people. Because really in real life environment, units of people or teams of people, however you want to call them, they are really teams, even if they are not athletic teams, but they work in the same fashion. Everybody has to be playing together on the same team in order to achieve a common success. So I always think back to my coaching years and my athlete years in my everyday work, basically trying to motivate people, trying to find best plays, however you want to call that. But yeah, it is a very good preparation for a real work environment, which is why I think a lot of companies like to hire student athletes.
Do you still follow the progress of the Baruch College teams now currently?
Sure, of course. I've been, mostly because of the fact that I was a coach, but also besides coaching, I really enjoy cross country. And on top of that, I live next to Van Cortlandt Park, where most of the cross country races are held. So I always able just to run down the street and see a race if I really want to. So unfortunately, of course, because of the COVID restrictions, there is almost nothing going on this year. But hopefully next fall we will be able to have another cross country season, and I will definitely follow Bearcats. And if we have another Baruch Invitational, of course I will help out.
We'll be happy to see you at any future upcoming events for Baruch when COVID restrictions are lifted and we can get life a little bit more back to normal. How has being a student athlete at Baruch College made you the person you are today?
Like I mentioned, it's really about learning life skills. It's not just about running, not just about studying, but putting all the pieces of your sports, academics, all the other pieces of college life together. That's what you learn and you take with you into the future. Even to this day, I still put time aside to run, put time aside to work, put time aside to take care of my family because I have two little children. And both the time management and the discipline and all the other aspects, I think it's something that I wouldn't have that without being a student athlete. So if I just went to class or if I didn't focus on academics, it's the totality that really helps you in the future.
What did you like the most, being a student athlete or being a coach?
What I like the most? I think it's just being cross country is an outdoor sport, and I think it's being out there in Central Park or Van Krohan Park, being able to run, enjoy the nature, woods, whatever you want to call it, out there. This is something that I would say 99% of students who are not student athletes are not able to experience. And it's really something that you need, especially if you live in an urban area in New York City. You need to get away from just being inside the building, being on the subway, being on the street, just being able to go on a run either by yourself or with a team or however else you want to do it. It's sort of running away from everyday issues, but it is something that stays with you forever.
Yeah, let me also just add, Matt, thank you so much for the answers to the questions and really appreciate your insight. One other thing I wanted to mention about Matt that a lot of people don't know about, and I believe you did this 4 or 5 years ago, Matt. You ran in the New York City Marathon, and among all the residents of the Bronx, correct me if I'm wrong, were you not in first place? I think of all the runners or top 10 or
All
something?
the men from the Bronx was there.
Yeah, men from the Bronx, right.
And it wasn't 4 or 5 years ago, it was 2013. So it's a long time ago.
Matt, these days with everything going on, 7 years feels like 2 years. It's just, we've all lost track of time. But yeah, Matt was somebody, like I said, he was not only a student athlete, he continued to help the program as a coach. And obviously I recall the very beginning years, the first year I remember the club, like you said, it was a club sport, and then it got upgraded to varsity, and Dr. Ring was a very big part of that. And usually when you start a team, there's a lot of young runners, you have to build the program, but right off the bat, we had pretty much you, and, you had so much success early on, and then Andrew O'Rourke came along and he had success, and then women's cross country later on, in terms of talking about the whole program. Women's cross country went on to win a title with Darian Mew, also an alum, by the way, of Baruch College. And as a result, the program just has grown and grown. And even to this day, the program is, very competitive. And not only are they competing locally, but they are traveling. Angie, she's also, of course, she's again somebody very close to the program. She is also traveling and has the team traveling to different areas. We've been to Pennsylvania, we've been upstate. So the program has continued to grow, but certainly the foundation years, one of the names that we think of, and one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on was because the name Matt Soja and Mercedes too, if she's maybe there in the background, we're a big part of it. So the Soja family, is certainly a name, very well-respected name in cross country. Matt, I want to thank you for your time. I know you're a very busy person. I'll let you you got, a few last words.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I just wanted to thank everyone for being involved in this. And if you are a student athlete, I want to wish you the best of luck hopefully in the upcoming cross country season. But more importantly, in your academic season, because this is the main reason why you're going to Division III school. And then on that note, I would like to thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Matt. And thanks a lot for all the interns. Great questions. Great job as always. This has been another episode of the Baruch Alumni Chat. We'll have another one in about 3 weeks. If you are an alumni and you're interested, please contact the Sports Information Department. We'd love to have you and ask you all these tough questions. you know, and all these fun questions, of course. But I want to thank everybody for being here for another episode of the Bearcat Alumni Chat. Take care, everybody.